The 1990s produced a ton of fast cars. Everyone knows the Corvette and the Mustang, but there's another side most people completely miss. Cars that looked slow, boring, even like something your grandparents would drive. But under the hood, serious engines and seriously high speeds. In this video, we're breaking down the fastest sleeper cars of the 1990s. If you're ready, let's get started. Number 14, Chevrolet Caprice 9C1. Back in 1994, just about anybody could walk into a dealership and buy a Chevrolet Caprice. It was black, had 4 doors, a massive trunk, and looked like the perfect full-size family sedan. Most people saw it as a boring old police car or something your dad would drive to work every morning. But hidden underneath that simple body was something far more serious. The Caprice 9 C1 package was originally built for law enforcement use, and Chevrolet gave it the legendary 5.7-liter LT1 V8 engine. Along with the tough B-body platform, it came with upgraded cooling systems, reinforced suspension, heavy-duty brakes, and a high-output alternator that regular Caprices never got. This thing was built to survive police chases at high speed for hours, and while most people underestimated it, the numbers told a different story. The LT1 produced 260 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque, launching this giant sedan from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 8 seconds, with a top speed close to 140 miles per hour. That's what made the Caprice 9C1 such a true sleeper. It looked like a boring fleet car until it flew past you on the highway. Number 13, Buick Park Avenue Ultra. When the Buick Park Avenue Ultra first came out, most people instantly labeled it a grandpa car. And honestly, from the outside, it kind of looked like one. Chrome trim, a long hood, soft suspension, plush velvet style seats. Nothing about it screamed performance, but that was exactly the trick. Underneath that quiet luxury car appearance sat a supercharged 3.8-liter Eaton V6 producing 240 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. At a time when many family sedans struggled to make decent power, this thing had serious muscle hiding under the hood. And considering the car weighed around 4,000 pounds, a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of roughly 7 seconds was genuinely impressive for the late 1990s. Most people never expected something this comfortable and soft looking to move that quickly. Even crazier, the Park Avenue Ultra could reach a top speed of around 140 miles per hour. What really made the car special wasn't just the speed, it was the way it delivered it. Everything felt smooth, quiet, and effortless. You could be casually cruising down the highway in total comfort, barely hearing the engine, then suddenly realize you were moving way faster than you expected. That's the definition of a sleeper car. Number 12, Pontiac Bonneville SSEI. Back in the 90s, Pontiac slapped the word excitement on just about everything they built, but the Bonneville SSEI, this one actually earned it. At first glance, it looked like a regular full-size Pontiac sedan your uncle might drive to work every morning. Nothing too flashy, maybe a slightly more aggressive body kit, a different set of wheels, and that subtle SSEI badge most people ignored. But the second you got behind the wheel and put your foot down, the whole personality of the car changed. Under the hood sat a supercharged 3.8-liter V6 pushing out 240 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque through an Eaton M90 blower. In the mid-1990s, that was serious power for a front-wheel drive family sedan. 0 to 60 happened in around 7 seconds, and once that supercharger kicked in, the car pulled way harder than anybody expected. And Pontiac packed this thing with tech too. Heads-up display, digital gauges, automatic climate control, stuff that genuinely felt futuristic back then. That's what made the Bonneville SSEI such a great sleeper. Number 11, Chevrolet Impala SS. When Chevrolet brought back the Impala SS in 1994, they didn't just revive an old nameplate, they brought back attitude. This thing was based on the same B-body platform as the Caprice police cars, which meant underneath the clean bodywork was basically a street-legal muscle sedan. It packed the legendary 5.7-liter LT1 V8, making 260 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. And for a massive 4-door family car, it moved shockingly quick. 0 to 60 came in around 6.5 seconds, which was enough to embarrass plenty of European sports sedans back in the day. And remember, this was a giant American sedan with room for 5 people and a huge trunk. The Impala SS had a look too. Most came in black with lowered suspension, special wheels, and subtle SS styling that made it feel intimidating without trying too hard. Number 10. Ford Taurus SHO. The Ford Taurus SHO is one of those cars most people recognize, but very few people truly understand, because underneath what looked like a completely normal family sedan was one of the wildest engines America put into a 4-door car during the 1990s. Ford actually went to Yamaha and asked them to help engineer a high-performance version of the Taurus engine. Yamaha didn't just tweak it, they created a completely unique 3.0-liter DOHC 24-valve V6 that made 220 horsepower and loved to rev. This thing screamed all the way to a 7,000 RPM redline, which felt completely different from the typical low-revving American sedans of the era. And the best part, from the outside, it barely looked any different from a regular Taurus. Same rounded body, same grocery getter appearance. Most people had absolutely no idea what was hiding under the hood. 0 to 60 happened in about 6.8 seconds, but the real magic was how the car delivered its power. It felt smooth down low, then suddenly came alive at higher RPMs like a sports car wearing a business suit. And if you wanted the real SHO experience, there was only one choice: the manual transmission. No automatic could match the personality of this thing. The Taurus SHO wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but for the people who knew, this was one of the coolest sleepers America ever built. Number 9. Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. When most people saw a Ford Crown Victoria in the 90s, their first instinct was simple: slow down. And honestly, that's what made this thing such a perfect sleeper. The Crown Vic Police Interceptor came with a 4.6-liter V8, pushing around 250 horsepower, plus heavy-duty brakes, upgraded cooling, reinforced suspension, and gearing built for high-speed highway chases. This wasn't just a cop car, it was a full-on pursuit machine. 0 to 60 miles per hour happened in about 7 seconds, and the craziest part, these cars could cruise at over 140 miles per hour for hours without breaking a sweat. A lot of retired police units ended up in civilian hands, and some owners barely changed them at all. Spotlights removed, maybe. But the intimidating presence stayed. People still moved out of the left lane when they saw one in the mirror. That's sleeper culture at its finest. Fast enough to surprise you, invisible enough that nobody expected it. Number 8. Dodge Intrepid ES. Back in the early 90s, Chrysler was trying something completely different with the Dodge Intrepid. They called it cab-forward design, and honestly, it looked futuristic compared to most American sedans at the time. The ES version packed a 3.5-liter V6 with 214 horsepower, sport suspension, sharper steering, and enough punch to hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 7.5 seconds. Not supercar fast, but definitely quick for a big family sedan in the 90s. What made the Intrepid ES a true sleeper was its image. Most people thought it looked like a rental car or some boring fleet sedan. Nobody pulled up next to one at a stoplight expecting a race. But under the surface, this thing had real attitude. Number 7. Cadillac Eldorado Touring Coupe. When you hear the name Cadillac Eldorado, you probably picture a soft luxury cruiser driven by somebody's rich grandfather. And normally, you'd be right. But then Cadillac dropped the Touring Coupe. Under the hood sat the legendary 4.6-liter Northstar V8. 300 horsepower, dual overhead cams, 32 valves, and way more performance than people expected from a front-wheel drive Cadillac in the 90s. This thing could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6.5 seconds, which was seriously quick for a big luxury coupe back then, and that's exactly why it worked as a sleeper. Nobody expected an Eldorado to move like this. It looked classy, smooth, and expensive, not aggressive. But once that Northstar 5.8 came alive, the car completely changed personality. Cadillac was trying to prove they could compete with BMW and Mercedes, and honestly, the Touring Coupe came a lot closer than people remember. Most drivers never saw it coming. Number 6. Cadillac Seville STS. The Cadillac Seville STS came out swinging in the late 90s. When Cadillac redesigned it for 1998, this wasn't just another comfy luxury sedan for retired executives anymore. This thing actually wanted to compete with BMW and Mercedes. Under the hood was the legendary 4.6-liter Northstar GTR V8 making 300 horsepower. And unlike most big American sedans back then, the STS also got an independent rear suspension. That meant it could actually handle corners instead of just floating over highways. 0 to 60 miles per hour happened in around 6.3 seconds, which was seriously quick for a luxury sedan at the time. And the craziest part, it cost way less than the European cars it was chasing. That's what made the Seville STS such a great sleeper. Number 5. Lincoln Mark 8. The Lincoln Mark 8 might be one of the most underrated performance cars Ford ever built in the 1990s. At first glance, it just looked like a smooth luxury coupe for businessmen and retirees. But underneath, it shared serious DNA with the Mustang Cobra program. Its 4.6-liter DOHC V8 made up to 290 horsepower in later models, and 0 to 60 miles per hour took around 7 seconds, sometimes even quicker under the right conditions. The styling also gave it this weird stealthy vibe. Long hood, low roofline, hidden headlights. It looked futuristic without screaming for attention. And honestly, that's what made the Mark 8 such a perfect sleeper. Nobody took Lincoln seriously as a performance brand back then, but this thing could absolutely surprise people, especially on the highway. Quiet, smooth, fast, and completely forgotten today. Number 4. Oldsmobile Aurora. The Oldsmobile Aurora never really got the respect it deserved. It wasn't flashy like a Cadillac, and it wasn't aggressive like a Pontiac. It just quietly existed in the middle. And that's exactly why it became such a great sleeper car. Under the hood was a 4.0-liter V8 derived from GM's Northstar engine family, making 250 horsepower. 0 to 60 miles per hour took around 6.9 seconds, which was genuinely quick for a luxury sedan in the 90s. But numbers only tell part of the story. The Aurora felt different to drive. The steering was sharper than most American sedans, the suspension felt more European, and the V8 delivered power in this smooth, effortless way that made highway driving feel ridiculously easy. And the best part? Nobody expected an Oldsmobile to be fast. Ever. It looked clean and classy, but almost invisible in traffic. Most people didn't even know what it was until it flew past them. Number 3. Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Alright, let's be honest here. The Camaro Z28 wasn't exactly a traditional sleeper. One look at it and you already knew this thing meant business. Aggressive front end, wide rear tires, Z28 badges everywhere. This car practically warned you before the light even turned green. But the reason it deserves a spot on this list is different. The 1998 to 2002 LS1 Camaro Z28 was one of the most underrated performance bargains America ever built. Under the hood sat a 5.7-liter LS1 V8 pushing 305 horsepower, paired with either a manual or automatic transmission. 0 to 60 miles per hour came in around 5.2 seconds, which was seriously quick for the money back then. And that's the key. Price. You could get one for around $20,000 to $25,000, while European cars with similar performance cost nearly double. A BMW M3, more expensive and less powerful. Porsche Boxster, slower. The Z28 embarrassed both. Number 2. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am WS6. The Trans Am always had a different personality than the Camaro. Same DNA underneath, sure. But the WS6 package turned this thing into something way more serious. Pontiac added the Ram Air setup to the LS1 V8, bumping output to 325 horsepower. Then they backed it up with Bilstein suspension, an SLP exhaust, wider rear tires, and optional Firehawk rubber. This wasn't just a sporty coupe anymore. It felt factory built for the track, and the performance numbers proved it. Some WS6 models hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds. Car and Driver tested one at 4.9 seconds back in 1999. That put it right in Porsche 911 territory for almost half the price. What really makes the WS6 special today is how rare it became. Pontiac built far fewer of them than Camaros, and clean WS6 examples are now collector cars. It looked aggressive, sure, but most people still had no idea how capable this thing really was. And honestly, a lot of them learned the hard way. Number 1. Dodge Stealth R/T Twin Turbo. And here it is, the king of the list. At first glance, the Dodge Stealth just looked like another 90s American sports coupe. Nothing too crazy. It even had stealth in the name, which honestly fits perfectly because most people had no clue what this car actually was. Technically, it was built alongside the Mitsubishi 3000 GTV R4 in Japan, but Dodge brought it to America with its own identity, and that made it one of the greatest sleeper cars of the decade. Under the hood was a 3.0 1.0-liter twin-turbo V6 making 320 horsepower, paired with all-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual. But that's not even the crazy part. This thing had 4-wheel steering, adaptive suspension, and active aerodynamics. In 1991, that level of tech was absolutely insane for the era. 0 to 60 miles per hour happened in around 5.1 seconds, and top speed was about 165 miles per hour, right up there with the Corvette of the time. And the funniest part, most people just saw the Dodge badge and underestimated it immediately. Meanwhile, this thing was quietly one of the most advanced performance cars America had its name on in the entire 1990s.